graph's end behavior. When you have a graph, your line will have two ends. In this case, both ends are moving upward. In this graph, we have our two ends, which are both moving down. It turns out that we can take a look at the function and decide whether we will have a function where both ends are going down, both ends are going up, or in a case similar to this, we have one end going up and one end going down. When looking at a function, we need to look at two things to decide the end behavior. The first thing that we need to look at is the degree. If the degree is even, such as x squared, x to the fourth, x to the sixth, then both ends will open the same direction. If the degree is odd, like x to the first, x to the third, x to the fifth, then both ends will open opposite. The second thing we look at to determine the end behavior is the leading coefficient. If the leading coefficient is positive, the graph will rise to the right. If you have a negative coefficient, then your graph will fall to the right. Let's try the equation y equals x to the fourth minus 3x to the third plus 5x. Take out your graphing calculator and plug this into your y equals page. When plugged into the graphing calculator, this is what it should look like. When you have it in, click the graph button. And here's your graph. Now let's take a look at the things we need to look at. The first is the degree. Is it even or odd? Our degree is here, and that is even. So that means that both ends will open in the same direction, which we see it does here. The second thing we need to look at is the leading coefficient. Is it positive or negative? Our leading coefficient is here. It is 1. It is a positive 1. Going back here, positive means it rises to the right, and as we go in the direction of the right, our graph is rising. Let's try another one. Y equals negative x squared plus 6x. Plug that into your graphing calculator, and it should look like this. Hit the graph button, and you will get this graph. Our first option is our degree, even or odd, and it is an even degree, so they will both be going in the same direction, which we see here. And whether our leading coefficient is positive or negative tells how it will rise or fall. Negative means it falls to the right. We see we have a negative here, and it falls as it heads right. Equals x to the third. Let's take a look. We have an odd exponent, odd degree, which means one end will go down, one end will go up, and we have a positive coefficient, which means that it will rise to the right. So if it's rising to the right, the other end would be falling. Let's plug that into our calculator, and here's what we should type into the calculator, and here's our graph. Just as we expect, we have ends in two opposite directions because we have an odd degree, and because it's positive, as we go towards the right, it opens up. Try the following on your own. Typing it into the calculator should look like it does below. And there's your graph. your odd degree means that our graph opens in opposite directions, and our negative degree are going to fall to the right.